Hello fellow travelers and welcome to American Classic Tour TV. I am your host JD Conroy and the topic of today's episode is why you should visit the Land of Enchantment. So you're probably asking yourself, what is the Land of Enchantment? Well, it's the official nickname of the state of New Mexico. And we're going to be visiting New Mexico coming up this fall. And in my opinion, there's two major reasons to take this tour. The first is the New Mexico Balloon Fiesta. Imagine 600 to 700 balloons ascending up into the blue sky set to the backdrop of Albuquerque's beautiful Sandia Peak Mountains. This is an event of a lifetime, an event everyone should see. So even without the Balloon Fiesta, New Mexico is definitely a place worth visiting. And that's because it has its own unique culture, character, and charm. It's a place unlike home. Going to New Mexico feels like you're leaving the United States and you're entering a totally new country with its own identity and feel. And this is due in large part to its long history and its rich culture. So Santa Fe, New Mexico's state capital, was founded in 1610. It's America's oldest state capital. I mean, really old, 1610. Think of that in comparison to the Pilgrims who landed in Plymouth, Massachusetts. They came over and they first landed in 1620. There were people in Santa Fe 20, 30, 40 years before the English Pilgrims even showed up in Massachusetts. So the history of New Mexico, and especially its capital city of Santa Fe, is really a story of the crossroads. And that's because of its location at the end of the Santa Fe Trail and the El Camino Real. If you look at this map here with me, during the 1800s, the two major population hubs in North America were the American Northeast here and Mexico City here. And right in the middle of these two population hubs was Santa Fe. And Santa Fe laid at the end of the Santa Fe Trail, which went from Independence, Missouri out to Santa Fe, and the El Camino Real, this huge trail that went from Mexico City all the way to Santa Fe. So Santa Fe and New Mexico as a whole became an important place of exchange for the exchange of commerce, ideas, and culture, which is why so many distinct cultures have put their imprint on New Mexico. The first of these were the Pueblo peoples, the indigenous peoples who lived in New Mexico before any Europeans showed up. There are still 19 active inhabited Pueblos in the state of New Mexico, and the Pueblo culture has done a lot to shape the modern New Mexican identity. In the 1560s, the Spanish, the first Europeans to show up in New Mexico, came looking for gold. In 1598, they set up a formal territory that they called New Mexico. They eventually gave that over to the Mexicans after the War of Mexican Independence in 1821. And in the 1830s and 1840s, the Mexicans and the Republic of Texas fought bitterly over the territory before it was eventually taken over by the United States of America, who eventually made this territory the 47th state in the Union, the state of New Mexico. So New Mexico has a distinct culture, and it also has a very unique topography. They say if you go an hour out in any direction from Santa Fe, you'll hit a different type of scenery. Maybe you'll see some red rocks, maybe you'll see mountain peaks, maybe you'll see green forests. New Mexico is also known for its art. The last time I was there, my local guide told me that there's more art sold in the city of Santa Fe than every other city in the United States except for New York City and Los Angeles. And Santa Fe only has a population of 70,000 people. But it's not just the art galleries and the art shops. Artwork is kind of interwoven into the city itself. There's a lot of public art and public paintings throughout the city. And this is due in large part to Georgia O'Keeffe, who called New Mexico home. She, in her day, was one of the most famous artists in the world. New Mexico is also known for its adobe-style architecture, which is very unique, and its authentic cuisine. Now, New Mexico is famous for its green and red chilies that are native to New Mexico, and these are not like jalapenos or super spicy chilies. They're kind of a more mild chili, and the New Mexicans are very proud of them. So you'll have a chance to try some of this delicious Mexican cuisine and some of these New Mexican chilies. However, if you do not like spicy food, if you don't even want to touch it, we always include on our tours a more traditional or moderate option so that those who want to try the authentic cuisine, the local cuisine, can have the chilies and you can have a more traditional option. And the last thing that makes New Mexico such a fascinating place to visit is that it is, like we mentioned at the beginning, the land of enchantment. It's like everywhere you go in New Mexico, there's some sort of myth or miracle or legend or folklore that's happened in a particular place. The most famous of which is probably the Miraculous staircase at the Loretto Chapel in Santa Fe. Okay, so before we jump into the itinerary, I just wanted to let you know, if you're interested in the history of New Mexico, some of the things I've talked about already, if you're interested in the history of the American West, I definitely recommend this book, Blood and Thunder by Hampton Sides, to you. It's the epic story of Kit Carson and the conquest of the American West. It's one of my dad's favorite books. He's a real history buff. I like this book a lot. And if you read it before you go out on this tour with us, you kind of see the whole area in a whole new lens. Okay, so let's get into the itinerary. Okay, so day one of your tour will start like every American Classic tour with a free home pickup at your front door. Your limousine driver will bring you to the airport where you'll be met curbside by an American Classic Tour staff member who will lead you inside to a private group airline check-in to meet your tour director and the rest of your group. Along the way, of course, your airfare is included, all your lodgings included, your motor coach transportation, the services of an American Classic Tour director, all the attractions, most meals, tips, travel insurance, it's all included up front so you can sit back, relax, and enjoy your tour and immerse yourself in the destination that you're visiting. We'll fly into Albuquerque, and our first stop will be at the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, where we'll learn again about the first culture really to reside here in New Mexico. Then we'll arrive at the beautiful and luxurious TAMYA Resort. And one of the nice things about this tour is that we only stay at one hotel, meaning you only have to unpack your bag once on this tour. And this resort is very nice. It's located on the outskirts of Albuquerque, backing up to the beautiful Sandia Peak mountain range. It's got unique architecture, beautiful interior design, clean, comfortable, modern rooms. Yet the resort has a sort of rustic feel. There's horses that live on this resort. It also has very nice, upscale, luxurious amenities, and that night we'll have dinner at the resort. On day two, we'll travel to Bandelier National Monument, and I love this attraction because it's a great combination of natural beauty and history. Cliff-dwelling peoples lived here up until the 1400s. You can crawl up one of these ladders and peer inside of the cliff dwellings. They look much bigger than they seem from the outside. It's a real fascinating and interactive attraction. Then we'll make our way to the state capital of New Mexico, Santa Fe. Our first stop in Santa Fe will be at the Loretto Chapel and the Miraculous staircase. Now, engineers and architects from around the world have come to examine this Miraculous staircase, and they've concluded that it defies the laws of physics, that it's able to stand the way it does. It's really a fascinating attraction. Then we'll take a guided tour of Santa Fe, obviously a lot of history, beautiful architecture in Santa Fe, and in the afternoon, we'll have a few hours for free time to maybe do some shopping, to explore on your own, or if you'd like, you could visit the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum, which is located in Santa Fe. On day three, we'll wake up and we'll go witness the amazing mass ascension of balloons at the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. 600 balloons going up in the air at the same time. It is spectacular. And it's not just the beauty of the balloons up in the air that it makes this event so much fun. It's also that it's kind of a laid-back, interactive event. There's obviously thousands of people there, but it does not even feel crowded because it's spread out over so much space. Here's a few videos from last year's Balloon Fiesta that I took. And the thing I wanted to show and explain is that you get right up in the thick of things. You get to see exactly how these guys send their balloons up in the air. Here they are inflating one of the balloons, and you get to take pictures, stand right there. If they ask you to help, you can help them. Here's another video. And so meanwhile, this is going on with hundreds of balloons spread out across this entire field. It is just spectacular. I love this event. It's a thing. It's an event everyone should visit at some point in their lifetime. Next, we'll take a guided tour of Albuquerque. We'll visit Old Town Albuquerque, and then we will journey to the top of the Sandia Peak mountain range on the Sandia Peak Tramway. Here's a video I took last year as we were going down the tram. Look at how dramatic those peaks are. I know the lighting in this video isn't the best, but still, I think it illustrates how high up you are and how beautiful the expanse is looking out from the top of that mountain range. Then, after a full day of travel, we'll enjoy a delicious meal at one of New Mexico's most famous restaurants, the El Pinto restaurant. On day 4, we'll visit the Acoma Pueblo. This is called the City in the Sky because it sits perched atop this beautiful mesa. It's still an active pueblo. We'll arrive at the visitor center and we'll board a special vehicle which will drive us up the steep road to the top of the mesa where the pueblo sits. We'll take a guided tour of the pueblo to learn about its history and its people who have lived there, and we'll enjoy some beautiful natural scenery. The last attraction we'll take in is the Balloon Fiesta's Balloon Glodeo. We'll have VIP tickets to the exclusive Gondola Club, which means you'll have access to an open bar and gourmet food. We'll watch the sunset over the Albuquerque skyline and the Sandia Peak Mountains, and once the sun sets, the Balloon Glodeo starts. And basically what the Balloon Glodeo is balloons from the festival are inflated and illuminated. They stay tied to the ground, and you can walk around and see them kind of glow in the dark and see all their different shapes. It's really an awesome event. It will conclude with a fireworks show, a really impressive fireworks show, to end our tour. On day 5, we'll wake up, we'll have breakfast at the hotel, and then we will board our flight back home. So if you're interested in joining us on this tour, here's all that's included. A free home pickup and return, a private group airline check-in, round-trip airfare and 1-check bag, deluxe motor coach transportation, 4 nights deluxe hotel accommodations, and 10 meals. Luggage handling is included throughout your tour. All attractions, admissions, and entertainment are included. All gratuities, even tips for your tour director and your motor coach driver. The services of an American Classic tour director and Travel Guard trip insurance. There's limited space available on this tour. We anticipate it will sell out, so call 847-548-3333 to make your reservation while we still have seats available. The price of this tour is listed here. And to see a full itinerary, visit amclassictours.com/New Mexico Balloon Fiesta. Again, if you're interested, call 847-548-3333 to make your reservation today. I hope you can join us on this awesome American Classic tour, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of Tour TV. I'll see you next time.